afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the second meeting with the Cibus Lab webinar. Okay, today we will discuss about frozen food and specifically made in Italy frozen food. On a domestic scale, frozen consumption is not so developed, but for sure the sector's margins of improvement are huge. We wrote an ebook just published in this day, and inside the ebook we show clearly that frozen food can expand a lot globally, above all in three specific categories, and I will mention them in a few seconds, but also that many sectors of retail food keen to shift to a wider frozen assortment. How I said, in particular, there are three strategic areas to be explored. The first one is the frozen pizza, a market in which is saturated and by non-Italian multinational companies. On this specific market, Italy can certainly increase its share. In fact, in the last 10 years, two national producers are growing, especially in the US. The second strategic area where Italian frozen food can grow substantially is in frozen pasta dishes. This is the essence of Italian cuisine, really interesting for many retail sectors. And inside the book, we say that the third area is the frozen regional specialties, another side of our gastronomic, which has made in Italy famous all over the world. Our analysis shows that not only mass market, but also many retail areas can interest to receive offers from Italian producers of frozen foods. For this reason, we invited to this workshop many different retailers, collective and commercial catering, hotel and resort chains, frozen mass market chain, and fast food chains, beverage and food. Now we will start this webinar with giving the floor to Mr. Michael Seidel, Vice President of Procurement Performance Food Service Corporate in the US, leader on collective and commercial catering. Welcome, Michael, to this webinar.
Good afternoon, Andrea. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Michael. Welcome. So, I want to know, as the Performance Food Group is a strategic player in the US, explain us something about your company.
Sure, thank you. So, Performance Food Group is the second largest food service distributor in the United States. We service national chains in the United States. We serve independent pizzerias or diners or cafes, schools, colleges, universities, hotels. We are comprised of 3 or 4 different companies. We have a cheese company that we own where we process 2.5 million pounds of cheese a week. We own a coffee company. We distribute to the national accounts. We have a division of our company that is over 65 years old. It's the largest Italian food service distributor in the country, known as Roma, and founded by Louis Pancone Sr. In the Italian segment in particular, today we have a 37% share of sales to all the pizzeria and Italian restaurants in the United States. So we're fortunate. We are growing. Even through COVID, we see ourselves growing faster than our competition.
Okay. Michael, in a market where frozen food is key. What is the importance of frozen within food service?
So frozen in food service will include the largest category in the United States is French fries in the frozen segment. But frozen for us, for the food service industry, is always 10 to 12% of everything that we sell. And when we talk about frozen, we're talking about breads and pastries and gelatos and ice creams and pizza crust, doughs, prepared pizzas, sauces, vegetables, desserts, sides, sauces, etc. So it's a big category. We do not put into frozen things like frozen seafood or frozen beef or frozen pork, just strictly primarily non-land-based or sea-based protein items. But it's very important to the restaurateurs. It's always been a very important factor to the restaurateurs in the United States.
A question: when we talk about frozen food, fish, but not many times we associate made in Italy food with frozen food. Do you make this association? Do you know that we have an important offering inside frozen food?
I do. Obviously, I'm well acquainted with the offerings of pizza and crust and some doughs and desserts, and well aware of pastries that are offered. Have recently become more aware of the gelato opportunities for the United States. Have become more aware of some of the frozen fish opportunities, some lake fish, etc., for the United States as well. And it's very intriguing. We've traditionally have always kind of looked at, again, the pastas and the breads and those sorts of ingredients. But I definitely see some opportunity in some of the frozen fish and some of the other things that could present themselves to the United States.
Does your company regard Italy as a strategic partner for the frozen food market, and in terms of ingredients or finished products?
Well, to be honest, we value Italy more strategically in dry packaged than we do in frozen today. Olive oils, dry pastas, etc. And just because of the tomatoes and those items are such a large ingredient, we import hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of containers every year just into our own company. We do a small amount of importing of Italian frozen items. And I think the only obstacle, quality and taste is not an obstacle. The obstacle sometimes comes with the cost of production and shipping to the U.S. and then comparing it to products that are here in the U.S. For example, frozen pasta. Your pasta is fabulous, but sometimes it's logistically easier just to buy from a very good pasta producer, who has family ties, immigrated from Italy. Sometimes that's just an easier route, maybe more so for logistics, even more so than price. Our challenge here in the United States with some of the frozen items and some of the experiences that we've had is that we always need product. Once we start selling product, we need to have that product 99.5%, what we call fill rate. We order 100 cases, we want at least 99.5 of those cases on our order. And that can be the challenge with really any imported item, is whoever is managing that supply chain and that inventory. If we run out and we're several weeks away from a container, it's very difficult. So we always make sure that we partner with some companies that we know have a very, very good supply chain, constant chain, and that it becomes accessible here in the United States.
Okay, wonderful. Very, very clear, very interesting, very interesting. So, Michael, thank you very much for your testimony. Really, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yes, very interesting, but we have to understand more about this kind of market, and we don't move from collective and commercial catering, but we move from US to Europe, and we are landing in France with Passionfroid, Group Pomona, and we say welcome to Carl Guadier, category manager of Passionfroid Pomona. Carl?
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
First of all, I have to apologize before Michael. My English will not be as good as his American, I think. So I'll try.
Don't worry, Carla. You are very welcome, and we are anxious to hear you. And talk us about Group Pomona and Passionfroid.
Okay. Pomona is a French family-owned group company born in 1912. Sorry, and today Pomona is generating a 4 billion euro turnover, working with 200,000 customers a year, currently employing 10,000 people. And Pomona's purpose is helping food professionals to better feed their customers. In France, you have to know that more than 75% of the market, of the catering frozen food market, is detained by the wholesalers. And Pomona has 25% of this market. And Pomona is the leader of this market. Still is my first job in Pomona, because it's the only company I've working since 1987. My family also has been in this business, dealing in fresh fruits and vegetables in Brittany. So I know quite this business for a very long time. I've been working as a seller, purchaser, marketer, manager on fresh fruits and vegetables, and even fishes, before running France's western area for Passionfroid, because we have to say Passionfroid of Group Pomona, and becoming its dessert category manager. There is an interesting thing that there's still a huge gap between reality and popular beliefs on that subject. Frozen food is still considered of lowest quality compared to fresh food in France. Indicating fresh products on a restaurant menu will always receive a much warmer welcome than it would if you write frozen products at the same place. And officially, the gastronomy sector does not use frozen food. That's why we are fighting alongside with our teams to demonstrate the fantastic opportunities that lie in using frozen products by organizing private cooking shows across the country. And during these 25 past years, we have been spreading this word on to chiefs. From your own judgments, try frozen. And I can say today that the proof of concept is done, and our customers have developed their own skills working with frozen foods, frozen products. It's only a matter of training and education. This is very important to understand when you have to sell the products. It's really a matter of training and education. But I have to precise that you have to make very big differences between users and type of products on the French market. It's key now to know that in France, frozen food market is mostly carried by collective and catering, like schools, hospital, company, canteens, and food chains. This for four major reasons: cost containment, quality, regularity, and simplicity. The independent commercial catering, which encompasses restaurants, hotels, caterers, etc., tends to prefer fresh products, but French fries, ice cream, some fishes, seashells, shellfish, these products are mostly frozen, even in this restaurant. What about all the frozen but high quality products existing in the bakery and dessert family? In France, but I think I hope in the world also, you don't forget about the incredibly successful chocolate moelleux or cœur coulant or fondant that you can still find on every menu. There is also a very important thing in France that fresh and local concept is taking an increasing part of the food market, which could lead to very deep transformations. But in my opinion, frozen food will always do the job for many different and exact reasons quoted earlier. Takes less time, requires less skills, costs less money, and add more security or quality and more innovations. And we create with our partners the good products for the good markets. That is the job of a wholesaler in France. And also we have to answer to only 3 questions. Why should we sell this product? To whom? And what are the turnover issues? That's the French market.
Okay. I will do the same question that I do before. In terms of selling, what is the percentage of frozen food in your assortment?
We have 8,000 references and a number of increasing more and more each year, because industrials are creating new products in order to develop their business, and customers are creating their own in order to be different. And around 55% of these references are frozen food. The most common are vegetables, fries, sea products, elaborated products like hamburger or cordon bleu, and ice cream. As I said previously, fresh and local trend is mainly focused on dairy products, fruits, meats, and fish. You have to know that each time the fresh market will be able to propose a better product in terms of quality, prices, receipt, simplicity, or localization, frozen market will need to increase its own assets. For example, I have a very nice product. It's a new frozen lobster from Brittany, from 5 Degree West in Brittany, which is a masterpiece. It's just like fresh.
Regarding Italy, do you can consider us as a strategic partner for in the purchases, and in which part for finished products or ingredients?
Italy has been a strategic partner regarding elaborated frozen products for a long time. We work with efficient firms, constantly looking for quality in famous products such as pasta or cakes, for example. Just as France, Italy is known to be a country of pleasure, and food plays an important part in our perception of the Italian way of life. In France, a good tiramisu must be made in Italy. There have always been and still are 2 ways to reach the market: competitive and originality. Never forget that in the end, every product is sold by a seller or a system. And they have to convince themselves first to be the first on the selling list. Don't forget the wholesaler has more than 8,000 food references in his catalog. And also in each case, only the balance between added value and logistic cost makes the difference in a world of too many products. And I think really that race for more is now too much in our world. And creating, negotiating, purchasing, storing in -21 fridges, Celsius fridges, preparing orders, delivering to the final customers is so expensive and complicated compared to fresh products that only the worth it products have a future in our huge but limited frozen fridges.
Okay, wonderful. Carlo, thank you so much for your testimony. We understood a lot. Thank you so much, and have a good job for the next future. Thank you so much, Carlo.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Really interesting. So we explored a sector, the collective and commercial catering, and we understood many critical things, and we discovered many opportunities. When we talk about retail in Italy, we mean mass market retail. By the way, there are many sectors of retail very important and not so useful in Italy, but really high used by the consumers all over the world. An example is the fast food retail. in Italy is growing up, but out of Italy is a big reality. We invited today a player, important player inside the retail fast food, and we are talking about Pizza Express restaurants, and we invited Andrea Macchia, Senior Purchasing Manager, Food and Drink. Welcome, Andrea.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the invite to the webinar.
Yes, thank you to you for our invitation, for accepting our invitation. Tell us something about our culture, about pizza. How popular is pizza in the UK?
Pizza is definitely very popular in UK. Basically, the pizza market in UK is worth about 5 billion between food service and retail, and 1 billion pounds is only retail. The category is definitely growing by 4% year on year. And one of the main parameters to understand how popular it is basically 85% of British people buy pizza in the grocery channel.
Incredible, very incredible. And we know, but I would like that you explain better that in the UK, the consumer has a different relationship towards frozen foods with respect to Italian consumers, right?
Yes, I mean, the general, let's say, overall pizza category or the pizza market in UK is mainly driven by probably three main factors. The first, clearly, the consumer are becoming more engaged with the category. Definitely, there is a rising demand for meals that require minimum preparation, and pizza definitely follow in this category. And then another important factor is basically there is a growing trend in the UK market about vegans and vegetarian. Pizza is basically a simple and flexible concept, and the toppings can be added with simplicity. And this category of pizza are basically growing in double digit, are incremental in the category, are not basically cannibalizing what are the typical, let's say, UK toppings like pepperoni salami, for example.
Okay. I ask you some secrets of the backstage of your job. For example, does Pizza Express use any frozen ingredients or have any finished products among its menu?
Yes, Pizza Express use frozen ingredients and finished products. We continue to use about 23% of the ingredients in Pizza Express are under the frozen category. The frozen ingredients are part of the menu. We continue to be part of the menu, and they will be part of the new product development, because the frozen ingredients basically, a part of their quality are the very versatile ingredients, and they basically simplify operation in the restaurants. To have a simple operation in the restaurants, and particularly for the back house, means basically there is less waste in restaurants, and less waste in restaurant means a lower carbon footprint from a CSR point of view.
Is the use of frozen products an issue for your consumer? Is he even aware of it?
No, honestly, no. There is no legal requirement in UK to disclose which ingredients are fresh or frozen. And I personally believe that given the technology in the frozen market, definitely frozen ingredients are definitely comparable to fresh products.
Okay.
Customers will not notice the difference.
Okay, this is important. This is the big difference from Italian consumer, of course. And is Italy, for you, a strategic partner for Pizza Express? And can you see further opportunities in this field?
Yes, I mean, if you think about that, 30% of the frozen ingredients in Pizza Express are sourced directly from Italy. I definitely see opportunities in the frozen categories. For me, the main are definitely the bakery, the vegetables, the plant-based ready meals, and all the other categories where Italy basically enjoy high quality of ingredients that are easily accessible in the Italian market and that not available in other, let's say, markets, in particular in North Europe.
Okay, wonderful. Andrea, thank you very much for your answers, for your testimony. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Okay, we go on and we remain inside the fast food market, fast food retail, but we move from food to food and beverage offer, and we will talk with Jasper White, Caffè Nero consultant, even in Sweden and UK. Jasper, who talks a very good Italian. Ciao Jasper.
Ciao Andrea, ma non dobbiamo parlare italiano, rimaniamo in inglese e anche francese.
Okay, of course, Jasper. Okay, Jasper. Caffè Nero is a chain with an Italian name, with its main core is in UK and developing in other countries such as Sweden. Which is the difference between the two countries?
So Caffè Nero is or Caffè Nero, if you want to say it your way, is the third biggest coffee chain in the UK. It's privately owned. We have about 650 stores in the UK under the Caffè Nero brand, and we have another 200 stores under two other brands. And then we have about 200 stores in 10 other international markets in the US and Europe. And my role was initially to work on one of the smaller brands in the UK in terms of premium positioning for its food, which certainly involved frozen products. And then I also worked on the market entry into Sweden, from going from no stores to 10 stores, and project managing the launch of the menu there and the supply chain there, which again involved frozen products.
Inside the assortment, inside Caffè Nero assortment, you have beverage and food. There are, in the business is different from UK to Sweden. The consumer attitude is different from UK to Sweden, approaching food and beverage.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a broad distinction that you can make between Caffè Nero UK and Caffè Nero International, so all the international markets, most of which are in Europe, and then there is also in the States. To your question, you might see the answer partly in the sales mix. So in Sweden, for example, you have the highest percentage of sales, food sales, in both volume and value terms. And then in other parts of the business, you would see a greater skew towards the hot beverages themselves and less food. And when I say food, I'm talking about sweet food as much as savory food. So it's not just sandwiches, it's also pastries, cakes, and other items. As you can imagine, a lot of those are bought frozen.
Can you tell us about the relationship of the Caffè Nero Swedish consumer with frozen foods?
Sure. I mean, I think I'm probably with Andrea Macchia on this one, in the sense that if you look at our consumers, how they choose what they buy, particularly in terms of food, you have to bear in mind that in our coffee shops, almost all of our food is on display. And so the purchase will be made with the eye. It's based on how the product looks and what price it's at. And then the repurchase will be based on the mouth, i.e. how does it taste? What's the texture? Do I like these flavors? And what we see in Sweden is that there doesn't seem to be any negativity towards finished products that came to us through a frozen supply chain, or to fresh products that were made with frozen ingredients. In fact, the top selling dessert item is the tiramisu, which is frozen. And Carl said earlier that good tiramisu must be made in Italy. Well, you know, ours is. And then I think Michael was talking about bread products. Well, we were buying a frozen focaccia, which we would top with fresh ingredients in market. So products like that, you know, go along with, as Andrea Macchia was saying, these are products that you can customize, that can be vegan, that can be vegetarian, or you can top with an animal protein.
Okay, in your opinion, Jasper, can the Italian frozen products, for example, such as prepared foods or regional specialties, find an interesting market area within Caffè Nero's range of products?
I mean, I've only really able to speak for Sweden. Sweden within the group, within Caffè Nero as a whole, Sweden, you know, is the most recent market, and it has a lot in common with other international markets. But you know, we've been looking for regional products in the frozen supply chain. The problem that we've had sometimes with frozen is about not enough scale within that market. So the manufacturer can't justify building in a scale distribution chain. And then, a bit like Mike was saying in terms of continuity, if we bring in our own imports through a partner importer, we have these same challenges of, you know, run outs and substitutions, and Michael's nodding a lot.
Okay. Okay, Jasper, thank you so much for your testimony, for your answers, and have a good job for your next future. Bye, Jasper. Okay, now we have two testimonies recorded, really interesting. One of them is from South Korea, and the other one is from France. The first, we recorded yesterday the testimony of the corporate executive Western Food Manager, Sebastiano Giangregorio, Lotte Corporation Company, but the branch is Hotel&Resort. And now we will hear his testimony that we recorded yesterday.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sebastiano, and welcome to the second Cibus Lab webinar.
Thank you, Mr. Andrea. Good morning to you, because the different
yes,
the time is different from Italy and Korea. So
yes,
okay.
We will talk about
and
Lotte
thank you for inviting me in that. Okay, thank you for inviting me in that forum.
Thank you so much. Lotte Corporation is a South Korean multinational conglomerate who consists of over 90 business units in such diverse industries as candy manufacturing, beverage, hotels, fast food, retail, financial services, industrial chemicals, electronics, IT, constructions, many activities.
Yes.
You work inside Hotel&Resort business unit, right?
Yes, I'm working for Lotte Hotel&Resort Group, so I am in the headquarters. I'm in charge for the Western food. I mean, for the Lotte Hotel, I found some new company in Europe where we can work together to import new product or new idea from overseas company.
Wonderful. Talk us about Lotte Hotels&Resort.
Okay,
the numbers, etc.
Okay. The Lotte Hotel&Resort is one of the largest hotel group in Korea. We are expanding every year in Asia and over country every year. So this year we open one new hotel in Seattle in America, just in September. And our goal is open more and more hotel all around the world. So we try to open in Europe, but for the coronavirus problem, we have to stop all our business trip in Europe. But we hope as soon as possible start again visit to new country for open more and more idea for our Lotte Hotel Group.
Okay.
And
in terms of selling, talking about frozen food, in terms of selling, what is the percentage of frozen food in your assortment? And what about the Italian frozen food?
So the Italian frozen food is very minimum part. So we have the largest import of frozen food from different countries like Vietnam, like Indonesia, like Japan, and many Asian countries. But from Italy, the business is very low. We don't have a lot of frozen product from Italy. We hope as soon as possible, if the Italian company change their own mind in more open mind to help each other, our business, we can try to import more and more product from Italy. I mean, we have a few company from Italy. They already have a business in Korea, but it's very limited company. So my idea is have more frozen company. We can offer more quality and more food to our client and customer in Korea.
Which products could be interesting for you in your assortment from made in Italy Italian food?
I'm very interested in frozen fish. We are in Korea. We use a lot of frozen fish, from the fillet of sea bass to the lobster to the shrimp, to many kind of that kind of product. So we use a lot, also in all hotel chain. But also we can use for fresh pasta, frozen fresh pasta. We can have fresh frozen vegetable. So I talking about fresh frozen vegetable because it's kind of system to frozen the vegetable. So it looks like is fresh. So when you take out from the pack, is just from the room temperature, you have the same product is like fresh. So I'm talking about that.
Okay, and do you think available the possibility to import also Italian regional specialities, or
we have some limitation for import, example from the pork, because there is some not good agreement between Korean government and Italian government. So I think if they find some solution, we'll be very happy to import a kind of a regional product in Korea.
Talking about made in Italy food and frozen food, the South Korean culture, consumer culture, is open to made in Italy food?
Yes, of course, they are very open-minded regarding the Italian culture of food. Example, in Korea before, no, but there is a few years, they have a very good open mind for our aperitivo. So we can find a lot of place in Korea, from bar or restaurant, they can offer aperitivo to the Korean customer, Korean guest, and they are really enjoy that kind of aperitivo made by some sparkling wine, some cocktail, and some dry food like ham, prosciutto, some mortadella ham, some salami, some also cheese. They're really happy to try and enjoy that kind of food.
So there is a development also of fresh food, made in Italy fresh food.
Yes, of course. Frozen, we are able to accept them. Also, a lot of fresh food is coming to Korea.
Wow, very interesting. And thank you so much for your testimony in this webinar.
It's my big pleasure too.
Okay, we come back live, and we heard Chef Seba, the corporate executive Western food manager of Lotte&Resort, Hotel&Resort. Very, very interesting for many arguments. Now the last speech is by the only one mass market retailer focused on frozen food, very popular in Europe, above all in France. We are talking about Picard Group. The interview was recorded this morning with Bruno Dengremont, category manager of Picard Group, and let's hear his really interesting testimony.
Good morning to Bruno Dengremont, category manager of Picard Surgelés, channel supermarket focused only around frozen food. Welcome to the second Cibus Lab webinar.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Andrea. First of all, thank you, Alice, for your invitation on this webinar. So my name is Bruno D'Angremont. I am a unit manager in research and development in Picard company. It's a pleasure to share with you our vision. I discovered the Cibus almost 2 years ago, because at Picard we are always searching new sourcing for specific Italian products.
Wonderful, wonderful. And the first question is around the company. Can you talk about Picard Surgelés and describe the area, strategic areas of the company?
Yes, so Picard is the leader in France for the frozen products. We have 1,025 shops in France with 4,500 employees, and the turnover was 1.4 billion of euros last year. And at Picard, my job is to create and test recipes of new products and to guarantee that the products do comply with the Picard tasting and specification. And I work more specifically on appetizer, pizzas, and Italian operations.
And in general, what is the percentage of Italian frozen foods in your assortment?
So what you have to know is that we have different size of shops. For the bigger of them, the range is about 1,000 products. And each year we launch about 250 new products. So the innovation is a real big part of our DNA at Picard. In our main assortments, we have Italian food for vegetables on one hand and ready meals on the other hand. So for Picard, it's important to get the culinary expertise at the place where it is the more authentic. So that's why we have a specific brand, Italia, for pizzas and for ready meals. Thus, on recipes, for example, of lasagne or traditional pasta, they are Italian only with an authentic recipe and selected raw material. Furthermore, once a year, we also develop a specific commercial operation called Ciao Italia, where Italy is in the spotlights. This commercial spot is for 2 weeks, most of the time in May, and we launch 30 specific Italian products, including 20 new products each year.
So I understand that for you, Italy and the Italian production is a strategic partner for frozen products.
Yes, most of our Italian partners for vegetables and ready meals are historical. In the same way, most of our pizzas are produced by partners in Italy. Our Italian producers have a real expertise for the working of the dough, the levitation, the ingredient selection, and I'm always happy to work with them. Moreover, the 30 products we launched for our Operation Ciao Italia are only produced in Italy. This is the main point and the first requirement for us. So finally, Italy is not only a strategic partner for us, but also a mandatory partner for us. It's an important operation, Ciao Italia, for us, because it is supported in France with a big media and communication plan on Facebook, on Instagram, ads in the metro or in the streets. So this operation is very famous in France, and clients are waiting for it each year.
So do you think that Picard could possibly further develop their present assortment of Italian frozen products? And if so, in which categories?
Indeed. So as I told you, each year we develop new Italian products. So we may cover almost all the moments of consumption, from the starter to the desserts. The opportunities for the Italian frozen companies may be on appetizer, ready meals, pizzas, snacking, desserts, ice cream, and a little range of grocery and wines. So let me share you a little part of our range for the last operation Ciao Italia, which took place in last May. So these pictures will give you an overview, an idea of some products that we launched. So as you can see, the products, we want them to be beautiful and tasty at the same time. So you can see mozzarella al tartufo, which is an innovation. You can see a pizza with tomatoes del Vesuvio, DOP. So we are searching for origins. We have a baba limoncello. So this appellation limoncello is really famous for French people. The traditional marangata, or also specific specialties from a specific place, like casarecce with gorgonzola, pistachio, prosciutto crudo that you can see. It's a recipe inspired from Sicilia. So at last, let me share you 2 points to remember with Picard. First, we are searching clean label products since we work only with deep frozen technology, with deep frozen technology and company who have this technology. Of course. Secondly, we are searching for specific local products. We are very demanding on tasty products. We want the ingredients to be selected and cooked as if you are in your own kitchen. We are looking for authentic recipes and authentic name of recipes. And finally, with these products, we want our clients to travel in Italy with this operation also, and not only in Italy, but more specifically in local places. We want to bring them Italy at home, and that's what we are searching with Italian partners.
So the message is sent, and now we have to wait the production, Italian production, and the presentation in front of Picard and in front of Bruno D'Engremont.
Yes.
Bruno, thank you so much, really, for your testimony. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Andrea. So please feel free to contact our sourcing department if you want us to evaluate the opportunity to work together. But thank you, everybody, and grazie. Grazie mille.
Grazie a te, Bruno. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Okay, live again, and we are at the end of the second Cibus Lab webinar. We are inside of the second wave of this coronavirus. The situation is not so good, but we have to go on, and Cibus Exhibition Food and GDO News are working hard because we want to maintain our focus on the sector made in Italy food. We will do many webinars on this month and the following months. The next one will be on 24th of November, and we will talk about category meal. And another webinar will be on 10th of December, and the focus will be on extra virgin olive oil. I say thank you, everybody. Bruno D'Engremont, Sebastiano Giangregorio, Jasper White, Andrea Macchia, Carl Goyer, and Michael Seidel. Thank you at all for your testimony, and I hope to give you more culture, more information with the following ebooks and the following webinars. Bye-bye from Andrea Meneghini for Cibus Food Exhibition and GDO News. See you at next webinar on 24th of November. Bye.